best person to actually benefit from the PDP-led administration under Jonathan in 2019. If he has supported, President Jonathan very well, then I think he was still overambitious that he went and joined forces with the APC, that's Tinubu and Buhari, in 2013, 2014, and eventually they skimmed him out. So Atiku has lost out of that game. Now he's trying to build a new alliance with Jonathan and others, and Jonathan will just be laughing at this moment now what is happening. But it's good that politicians are coming together and trying to build momentum. I will ask former President Goodluck Jonathan to see how he can accommodate him and all of that. But ahead of the 2027 general election is going to be a very tight race, but he should understand that, just like we've said, I mean, it's a signal to people like Wike too. The APC has a policy of cutting politicians, using them to win elections, and then they will dump them. I just hope that's not what will happen in the ADC too. Now, when we come to the issues of the PDP, the PDP, the calls for a constitution of National Caretaker Committee, very, very excellent submission by the likes of Saraki and all of that. But where's the legality? There's nowhere in the PDP constitution that you can have a national caretaker committee. You only have provision for state caretaker committee, where the National Executive Committee or the National Working Committee can impose a caretaker committee on the states or local government, but not at the national level. So where's going to be the legality? That's a major challenge. As good as it sounds, I think the best thing would be to actually plead with FCT Minister Nyesom Wike to see how he can come together. If he truly loves the PDP, to work to see how we can, solve all of this. And for Tanimu Turaki, SAN too, he's a senior advocate of Nigeria, to see how he can truly reconcile the party. Because the idea of going to, issue expulsion certificate to Nyesom Wike and all of that is totally uncalled for. You need a party to be able to stand on firm ground. Then you now run the party, in such a way that you'll be able to stand as a credible opposition to the APC. As it stands right now, unfortunately for them, the tenure of Damagun and Samuel Ayen has come to an end. What can only say PDP now is a total reconciliation. Not all of this that's happening, because the legality of even the current Turaki-led NWC is in question. Unfortunately, there's no provision for National Caretaker Committee. So PDP is in limbo. Adeleke is right to say he wants to go to accord and all of that. But what of Adeleke himself going? Don't forget that he purchased a form under PDP. Does the INEC guidelines, the electoral act, does it allow you to contest in two political parties? Well, I think they are waiting for him. Because if he does get that ticket, it may be disqualified, actually.
All right.
Welcome.
All right. I just quickly want us to.
All right. So that is the link. But real quick, let me have your take, real fast.
Welcome. This is Hangout.
Tinubu sent.
All right. So that is the link. But real quick, let me have your take, real fast.
And according
Tinubu
to
sent
you
the
heard him
military
right here
to squash
on the Rise TV.
the coup in
He was like, if you can respond,
and according to the analyst, you heard him right there on the Rise TV.
If you can
he was like,
swiftly,
if you can
to
respond
intervene when there
fast,
is a coup
swiftly,
in
like they
neighboring
usually say in Nigeria,
why
if you
don't
can act swiftly to intervene when there is a coup in a neighboring country,
Nigeria?
why
What
don't
do you
we do
think
the
might
same to
Do you
tackle the
think President
insecurity
Tinubu did the
situation
right thing by
we
sending
got going on
in
in
that
Nigeria?
military jet to
What do you think, my people?
immediate effect?
Do you think
Or do
President
you
Tinubu
think
did the right
it's
thing
just
by
a way
sending
of
that
showing
plane,
power
that military
just
jet to
because
go to Benin
the
Republic with
Republic is
immediate effect?
relatively
Or do you
weaker?
think
Yeah.
it's just a way of showing power
Now,
just because
my reservation,
Benin
though,
Republic is
here is my
relatively
reservation.
a
I'm gonna
weaker
lie about
country,
this.
and now my reservation, though, here is my reservation. I ain't gonna lie about this. My reservation in all of this is that the said president is actually, I think this is his third time or second time in office, or fourth time. I think it's like third or fourth time in office. And this is a president that employed the same tactics by the woman who is the president of Tanzania. This president arrests his political opponent, jails some. People are also disappearing. He kind of twisted the constitution of the country to favor him, and he won the election with about 99% of the votes. Africa, we are funny, man. So I'm wondering, when a president who's supposed to do 2 term in office somehow manipulated his people through the constitution to stay in power, and the military kind of said, you know what, we are done with you, we don't want to continue like this. So the military intervened and tried to take away power. Then another country in Africa say, you know what, you can't do this. Democracy must allow to thrive. You cannot take power away from this politician. What were they looking at? Like, what were they doing when the so-called man, after his first, second tenure, begins to manipulate his people? What were they doing? In Tanzania, the same thing happened, and the African Union ain't doing nothing about it. So now it happens in Benin, and Tinubu sent military jet to go and defend the dictator. What do you make of this, my people? Let me quickly read some of your comments to see if we can make sense of what we got going on here. I got Uncle Dio in the building. Sisi, welcome, Mama. How you doing? Chucky said, fake has superpower. Uncle Patrick said, it's like you are giving food freely to strangers, but your own family is hungry. Be bad, do the right thing, but dealing with insecurity in Nigeria. Yeah, it seems like Tinubu did the right thing by sending military to Benin to go and restore peace. But what are you doing about our security situation in Nigeria? That's the question I still can't figure out. Uncle Dio, you're welcome, sir. Do you have anything to say about this deployment of military jets to Benin Republic, sir? Shout out to you, Sister Natu. How you doing, man? Uncle Dio, can you hear me? Hello, Uncle Dio. Hey, I see you, Cherish Olivia. You are watching the vertical format. Please come over to the main show. Can you hear me now, Uncle Dio?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Okay, I can hear you now, Uncle Dio. You're welcome, sir. How are you doing today?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, Bami deployed military jets to Benin to go and counter the coup that was going on over there. What are your thoughts about that, sir? Hello, Uncle Dio. Oh, it be like say Nigeria network don't begin happen to Uncle Dio again. Anyway, let me continue to read comments. Please drop your comment. I'm gonna read them. Shout out to my lovely sister Mary, the one and only Shetinka. Shetinka said, democracy looks more and more like a joke, but military rule is even more scary. I know, it's scary. Cherish Olivia said Tinubu is a joke. My sister, may God help us. The situation is actually pathetic the way it is right now. Uncle Dio, I don't know, maybe, okay, Uncle Dio, you may have to come back again. The situation is pathetic. Honestly, it's like we take one step forward and 30 steps backward. Somebody please make it make sense. All right, for those who are watching the verticals, I'm dropping the link to the main show. Click the link to come to the main show, okay? Join the main show. All right, click the link to come to the main show so I can see your comments, and you can also call in if you want to call in. All right. Do we have any more comments? Shout out Sister Rose. Okay, Sister Olivia, you're welcome. Sister Rose say we don't take any step forward. Sister Rose, I think we are taking one step, at least one step forward, even though we take like 50 steps backward. All right. Moving on, let's now get into this conversation, this heated conversation between Dr. Abati and Rufai Husseini. So, Rufai Husseini was of the opinion that President Tinubu should resign since he called for President Jonathan's resignation when Nigeria was dealing with insecurity situation during his regime. And people are always attacking anyone who recommended that President Tinubu should resign. So Dr. Abati say he doesn't think the situation has gotten to a point where he should resign. And Rufai said, well, if he can call for Jonathan to resign when Jonathan was facing similar situation during his administration, then the president too must resign. Now, in my own small opinion, my own personal little opinion, I don't think the president needs to resign. I know how that sounds, but this is just my opinion. I don't think Tinubu, the situation does not call for Tinubu to resign, and this is why. If Tinubu resigns, who takes over? Shetima? Let's just think about it for a minute. Because there are people who are actually embracing that alternative. Resign. Okay, when he resigns, who will take over? According to the Constitution, the vice president is supposed to be the one to step up. You want to tell me the man who can't stop Boko Haram in his own state, the man who the founder or leader of Boko Haram was actually arrested in his own house, that man will now be the one to step in when Tinubu leaves. If Tinubu resigns, Shetima, no, let's be candid now. Let's just be honest for a minute. So for me, the call for Tinubu to resign that's not going to fix nothing. All right, if you take Shetima out of the equation, who is next in order? Akpabio. Hey, Akpabio. Let me hear that again, please.
Kasongo ye Mombari nanga Kasongo mbona wewe Songa libala Ogo ye Kasongo.
So if Tinubu resigns and Shetima cannot do it, we will now move on to Akpabio. let me sing that song again. Kasongo ye Mubari baga Kasongo bona weo. Is Misty here? Misty, please come and sing this Kasongo for me. Akpabio will now be the one to step in. Thank you, Shitinka. All of them now one chance. Our sister now to say, stop Boko Haram. He is their sponsor. Shari Joliwa say all of them are the same. And my lovely sister Pino say, resign for who? I swear. Frankly speaking, I have to explain that so it can make sense to our people. When I hear people say, Tinubu, if you can't do it, you resign. Tinubu, got to go. Let Tinubu go. Resign. And I'll just be like, do you guys really know how this thing works? If Tinubu go, you are going to have the next man in line, and that man is your one and only Shetima. And if you say no, we don't want it, Shetima, yeah. Okay, when you take that man out of the line, guess who's gonna step in? Akpabio. Akpabio is worse than all of them. A Senate president that is singing on your mandate, we shall stand. Akpabio that is fighting a female senator, now he go step in. So, on a serious note, my people, Tinubu resignation, that is out of it. That is not an option right now. I have my lovely sister Yinkus in the building. Sister Yinka, how you doing, ma?
Hi, I'm doing fine, Uncle Ben. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, my lovely sister Yinkus. Hey,
Yes,
I see
sir.
you on political roundtable. I need to go do Thanksgiving for church.
Ah, you
Sister
know,
Yinka, you want to talk about politics, man?
Uncle Ben, I like politics now. It's just that usually when you have the show, I'm not able to call him, but I kind of take my
Eh?
time in the comment section there. But I
Wow,
love
I don't know
politics.
if they find women they discuss politics.
Uncle Ben, I beg go.
All right, Sister Yinka. Two situations at hand. The first one is Tinubu sent jets to Benin Republic to restore the president that the military junta were trying to oust. So Tinubu stepped in real quick. He corrected the situation. He did not allow the military to take over. However, this same man is running for office for the fourth time. Fourth time, okay? So that is on the one hand. On the other hand, people are saying Tinubu should resign. Tinubu must resign. If you can't do it, leave it. And their excuse is that during President Jonathan's tenure, when we had insecurity situation, Tinubu was one of the loudest voice demanding for his resignation. So people are now saying, well, if you can ask Goodluck Jonathan to resign, now that you are in charge, things are not moving as expected. So, Baba, you should call it quit. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, so first of all, I wanted to talk about about sending our jets from Nigeria to go help out somewhere else. It's almost like, you have your house burning down. But instead of you trying to figure out, how to take out the fire, you decide to send the firefighters and all the water you have in your country to the other place to go quench the neighbor's house while your own house is gracefully burning down. That's exactly what is going on right now. And I don't know how it makes any sense, but nothing about Nigeria makes any sense. So am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised. And that's the kind of world that we live in. But it doesn't make any sense. And there's no way that you can even talk about it for it to have any kind of value. There is zero value in that. And then unfortunately, we have people calling for Tinubu to resign. But the question I would like to ask is, of course, I would love for Tinubu to resign. But if he did resign, who's going to take over? Now that's the question, because everybody else that can step up right now and take over his position are actually going to do exactly the same as he is, or even worse.
Exactly.
Whatever is going on right now is controlled by the power, is controlled by the government. The government, they will not want to do anything. And they may even be more powers behind the government, not just Nigeria itself. We already know how that works. But the truth about the matter is that nothing is going to get any better if Tinubu is not there. Tinubu is there, he's not there. If the matter with this situation will still be worse. I mean, we talked about this kidnapping issue. How has there been any difference? No, even the one that, seemingly looks like he's trying to help has been thrown under the bus because he's probably ruffling some feathers somewhere. Yeah. So there's so many deep-rooted issues, and Tinubu leaving power is actually not it. It gets to a point where you say, you know what, you messed this up. You will sit your black butt down and fix it. That's where we are with Tinubu right now. Like, he needs to be changed down to say, you know what, you need to fix what you have broken, because the entire system is just completely broken. I don't even know how they can even begin to fix this. Honestly, it saddens my heart, but I just honestly believe that Nigeria is totally gone. Like, the country is done. It needs to start from. They need to start all over again. That's where we are, because I don't know how you can fix it. You can. It's like trying to fix a hand, but you have the entire body is decayed. The entire system is broken. Where do you start from?
I wonder, my sister.
I don't know, and it's quite sad that that's where we are. But nothing is. It's sad, but that's where we are.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. Thank you, my sister.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna take some comment real quick. Chiye said, Kasogo cracks me up every time. I love Kasogo. What's up, Sister Marriott? How you doing, my lovely sister? Sister Cherry said, They said he built Lagos. He reached Nigeria. He no fit build that. Sister, Sister Olivia, nobody fit build Nigeria. You hear Sister Yika just talk about that now. The way the thing just did now, we don't even know where we dey go now. So I'm not sure say now in fact say no fit build Nigeria. That he built Lagos now propaganda. I'm gonna say it again. I know Lagosians don't like to hear it, but it's the fact. Oh, he built it now propaganda. It's just one of the gimmicks of let us spin it so that at least he can win the election. And the reason they were using the he built Lagos narrative is because Peter Obi is a formidable opposition during that election. Peter Obi's record was way too outstanding that if they don't turn on all the propaganda machine, it's going to be so difficult for him to even say he will win Peter Obi. And you know, some people are still arguing today that the president did not win the election. But for me, as a citizen of a developed world, my understanding is if at the end of the day, if the electoral tribunal declares somebody the winner of the election, that's who becomes your president. So you don't have any basis to say he doesn't win the election, okay? But at the time they were putting out that narrative, he built Lagos, is built Lagos, is because Peter Obi wave was so strong, super strong. And I don't even think the president can still forgive Peter Obi for defeating him in the presidential election in Lagos State. Even me, he paid me, even though I be obedient. I was like, Peter Obi, you know, suppose we buy me for Lagos, but hey, it is what it is. So that he built Lagos, not just narrative, I beg. All right, moving on. Sister Olivia said, he reached our turn. Military become incapacitated. Okay. She said that's how we were sending the military to Sierra Leone on peacekeeping. All right, I see that. And then it reached our turn. Military become incapacitated. And now talking about the ongoing fight against insurgency in Nigeria, the new Minister of Defense, CG Musa, has actually terminated any form of negotiation with terrorists. I see that Gumi is at it again. Gumi is trying to see if he can spin the narrative again, but I don't think that is going to work because this new defense minister is not playing. He said, look, we ain't doing this shit no more. There is no negotiation with no terrorists. I saw a video before I come online now. If you see the massive Nigerian military force that are heading all the way to the Tik forest in search of Boko Haram, you will know that the Minister of Defense actually mean business, all right? Shall we say, but we were going for Ecomog war years in the name of peacekeeping mission. My sister, we are all confused, Jare. May God help us. Chie said, Tinubu is chasing a rat while Nigeria burns. Mario said, it is not Lagosians that hate it. It is the people who don't live in Lagos that carry them for head. Federal government built Lagos. Ooh, Sister Marriott, no let them come fight you and me for years. They know they like to hear that truth too. And sometimes when we tell people that Lagos is the capital of Nigeria, and anywhere you made the state the capital of a country will always be well developed more than any other part of the country. Look, I haven't been to Abuja, but when somebody explained the comparison before of Abuja before Abuja became federal capital territory, and now I was like, wow. The person say Abuja used to be like a settling area where people just have like different town, not like big mega city. They just have towns here and there and there and there, just like the regular towns that you see in any other state. But now Abuja is freaking beautiful. I've not been there, but I watch area views, I see the environment and things like that, and I know it's gonna continue like that because it is the federal capital territory. So Lagos benefited from being the capital of Nigeria and also being one of the most populated city that has the only functioning port in the country. What do you expect? There is this argument now that they should open the Warri port, open Calabar port everywhere, you know. Well, that's a conversation for another day. But the bottom line is, Tinubu did not build Lagos. Yes, he did well as Lagos state government. And yes, he actually is the godfather who kind of influenced whoever become Lagos state governor. But to me, I think the credit of building Lagos should go to the governors, not Tinubu. Tinubu did his 8 years, and we know how far Baba gone and all that. So for me, if we're talking about people who build Lagos, I will actually give Jakonde. You remember Baba Jakonde? I will give Baba Jakonde, Fashola, Governor, is it Akinwumi? And this current one, Sanwo-Olu, these governors, they did fantastic job. Let's just be honest. But I just don't like it when people give all the credit to Tinubu. Even Marwa, yes, thank you. The Lagos state has always been very lucky to have performing governors. Those governors, they are head correct. It was just like when this man was the governor of, is he Akwa Ibom? Donald Duke. Which state was Donald Duke the governor? Either Akwa Ibom or Cross River State. That state was booming at that time. The dude was kind of like, you know, he was embarking on all kind of developmental projects, bringing people from outside the country and within the country to come over to his state for vacation, leisure time, and things like that. So, well, politics na politician. Anyway. Chucky said, well, Lagos is gone. 90s Lagos is gone. Abuja was planned not to be like Lagos. Absolutely. And they are still trying to fix Lagos anyway. That's why they are demolishing a lot of houses now. And Stomara said they should. Those states need money for infrastructure too. Well, Tinubu is giving those states a lot of money now. It's just that this current crop of governors, then be only. Anyway, moving on. The next topic on this show is Traore. So you've heard the news. Nigeria military plane fly on Burkina Faso airspace, and the plane was kind of grounded because I think they said they had emergency, so they have to land. And now Traore is like, no, we are detaining your 11 men on this flight. Nobody is going nowhere. And the way the Nigerian media are reporting the news, they are reporting it as if it's a kind of shocking thing. Like, how dare Traore hold on to that plane? Listen, let us be fair. It doesn't matter. I don't know. Let me play this video. Maybe it will make sense to our viewers. Take a listen to Arise News.
It's Oji Okwe, who is.
The students were received by Governor Umar Bago at the government house in Mina on Monday after they had spent 2 weeks in captivity. President Tinubu expressed joy over their safe return, but charged security agencies to ensure the swift release of the remaining 153 students and 12 teachers still in
collaboration.
Okay.
Love Roblox?
Let me skip.
Earn Roblox digital gift cards with Microsoft Rewards.
Right. And understanding.
Well said. Let's now turn our attention to reactions trailing the accusation leveled against Nigeria by the Confederation of Sahel States over the violation of Burkina Faso's airspace after a Nigerian Air Force aircraft carrying 11 people was forced to land in the country on Monday. In a video message, Mali's Minister of Security read out a statement by the Confederation of Sahel States condemning the violation of its airspace and the sovereignty of its member states. The Confederation described the incident as an unfriendly act carried out in defiance of international law and aviation rules, and threatened to place its air and anti-aircraft defenses on maximum alert with authorization to neutralize any violating aircraft, eliciting reactions. I'll take some questions next. This person wrote, emergency landing or not, detaining Nigerian military personnel is an unnecessary escalation. Issues like this are supposed to be resolved through swift military-to-military communication. West African countries must stop turning brothers into enemies. Today it's Nigeria, tomorrow it could be them. Diplomacy must lead, not ego. Another ex-user wrote, we stand with our troops. Diplomatic channels must be respected. But unjust detentions aren't the way forward. Hoping for a swift, peaceful resolution and the safe return of our personnel. Now, Ayo, the Confederation of Sahel States is made up of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, which formally exited ECOWAS in January following military coups and suspensions from the bloc. The Confederation says the Nigerian aircraft had an in-flight emergency in Burkina Faso's airspace and had to land, but the Nigerian plane had no authorization to fly over their territory.
So the official statement is signed by Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodame, who is the Director of Public Relations and Information. He had actually clarified what you already highlighted. Yes. So that was the official statement that they said they were on their ferry mission to Portugal yesterday, 8th of December. And following takeoff from Lagos, the crew observed a technical concern which necessitated a precautionary landing in Burkina Faso, which was the nearest airfield at the time. They also made it clear that this is in accordance with standard safety procedures and international aviation protocols. They also highlighted the fact that the NAV crew is safe and have received cordial treatment from the host communities. So, I mean, what we had said earlier on is that this is a official statement from the Nigerian Air Force, and then there are stories around that they are being detained. According to this statement, they are not being detained. They received cordial treatment, and it was based on an emergency landing. Some of us have been in situations where planes developed issues or passengers on the flight had issues for commercial flights. In this case, it's a military flight where you have to find the nearest, strip to land. And this is what has happened. And I think for now, I'll stand with the official position of the Nigerian Air Force until proven otherwise. But this is what they have released this morning.
Okay, very well said. Very well said. Well, now in Sokoto State.
So, briefly, I really don't see so much about this Nigeria aircraft being held by Burkina Faso. The only thing I can say to that is that I think Traore is just trying to send a message to especially President Tinubu that don't mess with me. Remember, when Traore took over and the other guys in Niger and Chad and Mali, when they formed the Sahel region and stuff like that, the Americans were against them, and then the French wanted to go back. So France kind of started looking for ways to get back at Traore, and all of a sudden it seemed that the president of France, Macron, was trying to woo President Tinubu to see if they can strike any kind of deal that can actually enable the French military to have a military base in Nigeria northern region. So I think Traore, as well as the other two guys from Niger and Mali, they are not in good time with President Tinubu. So having our military aircraft flying over their country and claiming they have this, allegedly claiming they have this malfunction or something going on with the plane, Traore and his cabinet may not take that lightly. All right, they may not take that lightly. Traore may probably feel like, hey, you guys, you are still messing with me. We are not playing. So I think they're just trying to send a warning to President Tinubu. But Uncle Dayo and Sister Yinka, they are hanging out with me. Uncle Dayo, I see you are back. Is your mic okay now, sir?
Yes, sir. I think I'm very, very much okay. It was my network that was misbehaving before.
Great. All right. Thanks for coming back,
Uncle
Dayo. So, Uncle Dayo, Nigerian aircraft being seized by Traore. What are your thoughts?
First off, these are just diplomatic issues which supposed not to have generated so much heat like this. If not for the fact that we have a junta in position in Burkina Faso, and then we have a democratic government in Nigeria, this would have been an issue at all. It would just be something of a common understanding. However, due to the issue that happened on Sunday in Benin Republic, and Nigeria sent in their fighter jets to go and quell and to go and reverse the coup, it was not really pleasant to the AES, to the Sahel group, because, God forbid, allegedly, if the coup in Benin Republic had been successful, it will give the Sahel nations access to the sea. So they can easily be like having shipments from the sea into their region. And that also will portend a very, very dangerous situation for Nigeria, having the Sahel nation surrounding about half of their border space. So to me, but as God will have it, President Tinubu was able to use the military to quell the issue at Benin Republic. So, and then not up to a week after, our plane was seen flying over Burkina Faso. Definitely, anybody in that situation will have felt, what's going on here? Are these people trying to do something funny with me too? But according to the official statement from the Nigerian Air Force, plane can develop fault at any time, and then it is just due to safety practice, which is international protocol. When you are having anything like engine issue, mid-air, look for the nearest place that you can land to avert any form of danger. So that was what the Nigerian government, that was what the Nigerian Air Force did. And when they landed there, we were like hearing two versions of story, the one from our own Nigerian Air Force and the one from people in Burkina Faso. So they are not tallying. But whatever it is, I will say this: it does not make any sense for either of them to have escalated this matter beyond what it is now, because nobody wants war. Number two, we and Burkina Faso, we are not at war. We are not. Yes, we may not agree on policies, but we are not at war with each other. And secondly, we are also African nations. We are not supposed to be seen fighting ourselves. Like, even though they have a military regime in their country and we have a democratic regime here, we're supposed not to be having this diplomatic issue. But whatever it is, to me, this matter should be settled as soon as possible so that it does not escalate beyond what it is. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Okudayo there. Before I quickly go to Sister Yinka, let me just ask your take about this. Tinubu must resign. Do you support people who are saying the president should resign, or are you against the idea, and why?
Well, if I must answer that, I'm not in support of people that say that President Tinubu should resign. And I tell you why. The thing is this: if President Tinubu should resign, who are we looking at to take over from him? Now, we have the vice presidents that are allegedly said to be sympathizers with terrorists. Allegedly.
Yeah.
If Tinubu should resign and the vice president takes over, what are we expecting? Allegedly. So to me, it is not a call to be made now for the resignation. It is not a call, because if you have to make such a call, you must have a backup plan that, okay, let this man resign, and this is what will happen. But I can tell you, in the case of resignation of President Tinubu now, the VP will take over. And we all know what that may portend. If the rumor going around is true, allegedly, it will not all go well for Nigeria. So to me, I'm not in support of that. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. I want to get that out of the way as fast as possible. Now, Sister Yinka, yes. Traore, they try us. What I I know you will like to join your sisters because many of my sisters here, they are crushing on Traore. People like Sister Rose, people like Chingy, people like Sister Natu. They're always like, oh, my Traore, my Traore. So don't join your sisters, Sister Yinka.
Everybody likes I don't think there's anyone that sees something that's good and declares that it's not a good thing. Well, maybe our Nigerian leaders shall. So because those ones they're all for everything to just destroy the whole country. They don't care. But yeah, I'm on Traore's side. I actually feel like if cloning is actually allowed and becomes something that is in effect, we should clone Traore. Yeah, we should. We need him. Like we need him. We need him to help with Africa in general because that's the kind of leader that we need. What we have right now is all just trash, and there's really nothing they can do. See, this issue about it's common knowledge, right? We know how Traore is with France, and we know how he's trying to just make sure that his country has nothing to do with France. And now all of a sudden, our own president is kind of like, it's like sleeping with the enemy. You cannot be my friend if you're pretty much hanging out with the person that I'm trying to run away from. Right? So he can't leave. At this point, he has to sleep with one eye open. Like you can't just relax and feel like, oh, because it's Nigeria, nothing's going to happen. You don't know what they have up their sleeve. I mean, look. What we need right now. If there's any way to cancel all the visas, cancel all the, all of them, let them not be allowed to leave the country. Stay in there and fix it. Go through what the regular human being in Nigeria, the regular man is going through. When it gets to the point where you're not able to get all the things that you need, all the nice things that you need, but everybody else, they can't eat, they can't, there's no good roads, there's no water, no electricity, but you guys are enjoying because you're able to get your passport and leave the country. At this point, that's what they need to do. Like, I love what Trump is doing as far as, the visa restriction, but it needs to be much more than that. Let the people fly, but anybody that is a government official, you need to stay in Nigeria and fix your country. That's where we are.
Let's keep it
honestly. But yeah, big ups to Traore. He needs to do more.
Contributed so far. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's keep it moving real quick. I really appreciate everybody that have contributed so far. Let me see what we got going on in the chat real quick. My Peanut, my lovely sister Peanut said, emergency Burkina Faso is just
was it an emergency landing or infiltration of their
okay, they can't trust it. Like was an emergency landing or was it an emergency landing or infiltration of their space? Honestly, like Uncle Dayo said,
maybe they are trying to spy to say what I think that's what is really happening anyway.
Nigeria, I get our Matabi.
I'm still saying,
who knows? Maybe they are trying to spy to say what's going on, but I don't think that's what is really happening.
It's military
but
to do what
I'm still saying I think it is within the right of Burkina Faso
message
president,
rest of African
military force.
We have what they have managing
our affairs. But remember, they are trying to send a message to the rest of Africans that look, we have not been managing our affairs right. So
we Africans,
since Traore came in, he has been proving that this is how I think we Nigerians, we Africans, we should be managing our affairs. So if any military aircraft invade our space as Nigeria, we are supposed to be doing the same thing Traore is doing now. So, but I don't think there is much beyond that anyway. Sister Rose said, why can't Burkina Faso have access to the border? Which border, Sister Rose? I don't get what you are saying, sir.
No, I think she was trying to say something about the beach, about the port. They cannot have, because they were landlocked, so they don't have access onto the port.
Okay,
So,
you mean
but
Burkina
if the coup,
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
if the coup in
This-
Benin has been successful,
yeah, I see.
they can through that place have access
All right.
to the port, and then they
Oh,
can
yeah.
You only have
can
access
bring in
Based on-
to Benin. So
Okay, I see what you are saying now. All right.
Politics.
It's true. They can only have access
Politics
to port
deal,
through
my
Benin. So I
people.
think that is why
Anyway,
Tinubu
62 years
acts
said,
swiftly.
the young man makes
politics
sense,
deal.
has the part of his
Politics deal,
how
my
Nigeria
people.
will be.
Anyway, 62 years said the young man makes
I
plenty
agree with
sense
you,
and
my
has the heart of his people. Imagine
Sister
how
said
Nigeria will
resign,
be
so
when
the
we
chief
start
terrorist
doing what
can
he's
take over
doing.
fully.
I agree with you, my lovely sister.
Yeah, thank you everybody, because
Sister
I
Mara said
know
resign,
that's
so the chief
conversation
terrorist
about
can take
President
over
Tinubu
fully.
resigning. A lot of people might not.
Yeah, thank you everybody, because I know
Many
that
people don't like
conversation
President
about
Tinubu, but
President Tinubu
I still
resigning. A lot of
think that
people might
even
not
if you don't
truly
like him,
think
you
about
have
it
to
deeply.
look at the
Many people don't like President Tinubu.
It's okay,
but
I hardly see
I still
president that
think that
don't like
even if you
Africa.
don't like
Africa
him,
no
you
like.
have to look at
I
the
don't
big
think
picture.
I have any country in Africa.
It's
where we
okay.
have
I hardly see president that is being liked
80,
in Africa.
90%
Make I no
of
lie.
the population.
I don't think I have
So,
any country
in fact,
in
as
Africa
a
where we have a
president,
president that
if you want your
80-90%
you
of
have
the
to do what
population
you
like him.
wanted. So if
No,
you're
in
what
fact, as a president,
expected of you, they will not
if
like
you want your people to
but
like
that
you,
does not
you
mean
have to
that
do
even
what
if
they
you don't like the
wanted. So
president,
if you are not doing what the people
to leave.
expected of you, they will not like you.
I've seen people say,
But
why can't
that
somebody
does not
just
mean that even if you
take
don't
that
like the
Tinubu out of
president,
office?
you
And
now want him
really?
to leave. Let him just
You
leave.
think
Let
that's
somebody
how
just.
this thing
I've
works?
seen people say, why can't somebody just go to that road and
get
kick that Tinubu out of office? And I'll just be like,
yours
really?
and the like or whatever.
Do you think that is how this thing works? It doesn't work like that.
right?
Everything get
Okay, let's move
they
on
get procedures and
to
like or whatever you
another
want to call it
debate
in
real
political
quick. I know we are tired of
balance.
this
All right.
insurgency situation.
Okay, let's
So,
move on
they said they've released
to
100
another debate real
from,
quick.
is it
I know we are tired of this
Niger State
insurgency
now, right?
situation.
Yes.
So
They have
they
released
said they've released 100
They have, like,
kids at
many?
from is it
over
Ninja
100
now?
left.
Niger State now, right?
and all of
Yes.
that. But this
They have
debate,
released 100 kids.
Dr.
They still have
Abad
like
and
how many? Over 100 left to be
I just want
accounted
us
for
to
and
hear
all of
them
that.
real
But this debate between Dr. Abati and Rufai, I just want us to hear them real quick.
Heading home. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has commended security agencies for securing their freedom. The students were received by Governor Umar Bago at the government house in Mina on Monday after they had spent 2 weeks in captivity. President Tinubu expressed joy over their safe return, but charged security agencies to ensure the swift release of the remaining 153 students and 12 teachers still in captivity. Well, here is the movement. The students were received at the government house in Mina.
Okay,
sorry,
I just opened up Parallels and boom, there's Windows 11 on my Mac. Like,
sorry, I hate listening to that Ninja president or Ninja or
that
whatever they
governor
call that state.
is an
The
Islamic
governor rather. That to me is one of the most terrible governors in
Islamic
Nigeria.
extremist.
That
So,
governor
sorry,
is
really
an
don't
Islamic
like
extremist. This governor here is
me
an
off.
Islamic extremist. So
This
sorry,
is the governor that
I really
asked
don't
every
like listening to him speak.
state to submit their
His statement
Sunday
irritates me all the time.
approval before they can
This is the governor that asks
Yeah, well,
clerics in his
that time when he
state
made
to
that,
submit their Sunday sermon, for
But
approval
anyway.
before they can preach. Uncle Dad, I don't know, maybe you are aware of that time when he made that statement, But anyway,
yes, he was trying to restrict the Christians in the state from preaching and from having open air crusade and all. I remember.
Okay, let's keep it going.
Families, and has charged the security forces to prevent future kidnappings and ensure schools are no longer soft targets for terrorists. Well, according to reports, the rescue followed intensified military operations, aerial surveillance across Niger, Kwara, and Kebbi states, and deployment of community hunters in the forest. Yet, no arrests were made. Let's take a reaction on X. This person wrote, how do these kids return without corresponding arrests or neutralization of the terrorists? How do you convince them to release the children without incidents? Your negotiating team must have a great power of conviction. Or are there some under the table transactions that the citizenry are privy to. I know that your government wouldn't pay ransom to terrorists. That would be gross irresponsibility. Of course, that's beneath you. But we, the ordinary citizens, are just curious as to how you're able to pull these negotiations through time and time again without incidents. We know that, the Christian Association of Nigeria, in a statement on Monday, said it had not received, official notification regarding the release of the 100 abducted students. The chairman of CAN Niger State chapter, Bishop Bulos Yohana, noted that while it would be cherry news to learn of the abductees' freedom, no information about their current whereabouts has been delivered to the grieving communities, raising questions about coordination between security agencies and key stakeholders in the release process. Now, we've seen this video, and the Niger State government has said that they're going to return the pupils to their family, I believe, hopefully after some sort of rehabilitation. We're glad, we're happy that 100 young children are back home. Kudos to the security forces that, helped to secure their release or freedom. But the question is still out there. Where are the terrorists who abducted these children? Where did they find them? Where are the remaining children?
Good question, Oji. And yes, like I said this morning, on the hearts of parents, well-wishers, loved ones, or anybody with a conscience or a heart, what you're looking at when you see a release like this is, thank God the children are back.
Yes.
Even though not all of them, we're told this morning 315 abducted, students and teachers, 50 escaped, 100 now rescued. So it means that 165, still more than those who were taken, are still in captivity. So first of all, let me say, thank God that they're back home. We are grateful to the security operatives and all those who were involved in their release. However, a bigger question would then be what we've been asking for, whether it be from Kebbi State or in Niger State, would be what kind of release is almost as if Nigeria is writing a new script on how rescue operations are conducted in such a way that rescue operations are conducted where there are no arrests. We don't have an opportunity to have that peace of mind that this will not occur again because the perpetrators or the people behind this have been apprehended. And it means that people will wait with bated breath as to where would be the next location based on what their agreements are. I also think there's a suspicion around this phased approach, or shall I say batch approach, to the release of these students. Why is it that only a few have been released at this time? Why were they not all released at the same time? I cannot imagine the anguish. 2 parents, by the way, have died whilst waiting for their children. And when you look at the faces of how young they are, you can understand the trauma that the parents and the children must have faced in the 2 weeks since they've been in captivity. I believe that whilst we celebrate on one hand the fact that these children are back home, which is what we have been calling for, and salute the efforts of all the security stakeholders who secured their release. The bigger question, in order for us to have that assurance that we won't see a reoccurrence or that we are proactive, is an apprehension of the terrorists who abducted them in the first place, a full going through the justice system, facing persecution. If found guilty, let us see the penalties for that, because this also acts as a deterrent for those who might have an idea of going into this life of criminality and terrorism, not to do with that. If you dare venture into this, you will be caught, you'll be found out, and you will face the full wrath of the law. Unfortunately, that assurance is not there. Instead, it looks as if there's some form of negotiation. It's not just about payment of ransom. It's also the fact that it seems there's a similitude of negotiations happening, and this government has continued to maintain that they will not negotiate with terrorists. It means that somebody is lying.
All right.
Ayo, you're spot on. You asked the question, Oji, where are the terrorists? Please ask the government that knows them so well, that they romance themselves, that they call them on the phone to release people, that they can even give you blow-by-blow accounts of what is going on with the people kidnapped. But Oji, in this conversation, what we are not looking at is that things are so bad now in Nigeria that to be a child in this country is a sad commentary. Do you know that it is children that are kidnapping these children? Have you seen the picture of some of the terrorists that were killed, those that come on TikTok?
We've seen their
They are children too.
They're young boys.
So what we have in this conversation, we have not even talked about the child soldiers that have emerged in Nigeria. Nigeria has now become a den for child soldiers.
Yes. And former President Olusegun Obasanjo had raised that in one of his interviews where he talked about how Gumi cried when he saw these young boys in the forest and they are drugged out. They have access to guns, they have access to drugs, and they have no future.
They're child soldiers. So
in the forest.
It's a double whammy.
Yes.
We're saying they're kidnapping children, but it is the children, the future of this country, they're also kidnapping the children that they've misled, that they've destroyed their lives, that they have become terrorists today. In all of this, the government now said they've done a deal. They released people. What about the parents that died? So nothing will happen, right? The cycle will continue again. You will keep talking to them. They will kidnap again. You will release them. Just like we had the Kankara boys. It's not agreements. Right. Then we had the Dapchi. You will kidnap, they will release, and the government has not solved the problem.
All right.
Why is all of this happening? Because the government is not ready to end the pervasive level of insecurity. If the Nigerian state, like I said, is ready, then it will end. And that's why, like I said before, Oji, this talk about, don't say President Tinubu should resign. When all of this was happening under Jonathan, did President Tinubu call for his resignation? He did.
All right.
If you violate a constitutional requirement, should I not call for a resignation? I should. Section 14 of Section 2 talks about the security of lives and property being in the hands of the state. Okay. If the head of state violates that by not providing security for the people, what has he done? Has he not violated the constitution? It's not grounds for him to resign.
That was the beginning of the
meanwhile,
that was between.
What if you can create your own website by saying this?
That was the beginning of the.
Why Dr. outrightly said, "Look, I'm not in support of Tinubu resigning." If Tinubu.
Why Dr. Batiro outrightly said, "Look, I'm not in support of
then when Goodluck was dealing with insecurity, then if Tinubu said him himself should resign now." Anyway, the other news you are seeing right now, this is the American delegation in Nigeria.
Him himself
should resign.
Anyway, the other news you are seeing right now, this is the American delegations in Nigeria. Something they happen. We'll take a listen.
He wrote, "I want to thank
the Constitution. It's not grounds for him to."
Demonstration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's response to the country's security challenges. Riley Moore made the remark in a post on X following his meeting with National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu in Abuja. He thanked the NSA for a productive meeting with the U.S. congressional delegation to Nigeria and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, stating, I'll read Riley Moore's post. In part, he wrote, "I want to thank the Nigerian government and President Tinubu for rescuing the 100 innocent and precious Catholic school children. This is a positive demonstration of the government's increasing response to the security situation and shows commitment to the emergency declaration laid out by President Tinubu. The U.S.'s sense of urgency on our concerns was positively received. I feel that a cooperative security framework is within sight. The now established joint task force between Nigeria and the U.S. is a great example. It is clear that there is an openness and willingness on the part of the Nigerian government to work with the United States to tackle these critical issues. Now, that openness has to translate to concrete action. There is much work still to be done, but things are moving in the right direction. I look forward to the next steps with the Nigerian government and the continuing open dialogue. Peace be with you all. God bless the great people of Nigeria." Dr. Bati, I wanted to read out the tweet, just so that we can have context to what he was actually saying, praising the Tinubu administration, especially for the rescue efforts with the 100 school children that were released on Sunday. Now, Riley Moore also met with Benue State religious and traditional leaders to discuss ongoing violence in the Middle Belt region. The lawmaker posted a photo of his meeting with Bishop Wilfred Anaigbe, Bishop Isaac Dugu, and James Luruza, traditional ruler of the Tiv people. Moore described the meeting as an honor, stating that Christians in the region will no longer suffer in silence and that the United States has heard their cries. Over to you.
Okay, first, I do not subscribe to the idea of anybody saying President Tinubu should resign. That's not part of the conversation. President Tinubu did not start insurgency, banditry, or terrorism. He inherited it. And if what Congressman Riley Moore is saying is anything to go by, this is a man who has come on a fact-finding mission after order back and forth between the United States and Nigeria, saying that he is convinced that the Nigerian government is committed to open dialogue and to cooperation, and that the Nigerian U.S. Joint Working Group, chaired by NSA Nuri Badu from our side, is working. And that he believes that with the kind of dialogue that he has had with the Nigerian authorities, if some of the agreements are followed, that the Tinubu administration will be able to address some of the concerns, not just about alleged Christian persecution, but also about the security of the people of Nigeria generally. So I think Congressman Moore, said, what should be enheartening for those who believe in the progress of Nigeria and for the administration that has been making every possible effort to address the concerns of the United States as articulated by President Trump on October 31. Now, Congressman Moore was one of the two persons that President Trump gave the directive to go and investigate. Now, the other person was the chairman of the Appropriations Committee in Congress. And this is in line with his work. Now, yesterday I said, well, this investigation is coming a posteriori, after the fact, that shouldn't they have done this investigation before jumping to certain conclusions about Nigeria? But better late than never. I think there is hope in the horizon.
So, yeah.
There is established understanding. There is, some development in the direction of the cooperation that the Nigerian government asked for.
All right.
Well, typical diplomatic approach. Congressman Moore, Ambassador Richard Mills, and Ballard and other members of that delegation, they also met with civil society. They were in Benue, where they met with the governor, and they met with Bishop Anagbe, Bishop Dugu, and also the Tortiv, so that it's not only government side that they are listening to. However, the caveat that I added is that, okay, this is a fact-finding mission. What matters is what President Trump decides at the end of the day. When President Trump sends diplomats either to Doha, whether it's Steve Witkoff or it is his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, or it is Scott Bessent, what we always hear is that where we have to report back to President Trump. He's the one who will decide. And I hope that they will brief President Trump appropriately and make everything open, the same kind of openness that Congressman Moore is commending from the Nigerian side, that they would, and then there will be some kind of understanding, and that the cooperation that Nigeria is asking for, will be at the fulcrum of that process of collaboration and understanding.
Well said. Let's now turn our attention to reactions trailing the accusation leveled against Nigeria by the Confederation of Sahel States over the violation of Burkina Faso's airspace after a Nigerian Air Force aircraft carrying 11 people was forced to land in the country on Monday.
United States Nigeria and covered that already. I just really want to get your take on this. Now, United States I will start with you, Sister Yinkus, if you are still here, man. 100. One thing I don't understand. I will start with you, Sister Yinkus, if you are still here, man. This photo shoot. One thing I don't understand with these children after they've been kidnapped and then the government said they rescued them with no arrest of the bandits, with no killing of the bandits, nothing. They've been kidnapped and then the government said they rescued them with no arrest of the bandits. Is it necessary? Please help me out, my sister. This photo up, is it necessary? Is it necessary? Please help me out, my sister.
Yeah, we already know what's going on. See, if anybody says they don't understand what's going on or they think that the government is actually doing something, then they're either very, very, very misinformed or they just don't have sense altogether. We already know this is a game. First of all, 300 children, over 300 children kidnapped. Then about 100 of them released. We didn't hear anything about the bandits, who kidnapped who, what happened, how they got them. No information. We just know, okay, they have 100 of the children or 100 or so of the children. And all of a sudden there's a photo up. And then the children haven't actually gone back to their families yet. They're saying that they're going through some kind of, I don't know what it is they say they're going through before they release them, right? To their families, or some kind of orientation or something. And then you have, you have the photo up, and then you're talking about, oh, this is the way forward because they're actually doing something about the situation. It's been happening for decades. It's been happening for years. I mean, I don't understand why anybody will fall for that. And I hope that Trump does not fall for it. At this point, they need to just come and take the whole country. Uncle Ben, I'm tired.
Exactly.
Because we already know that everything that he just did right there is just so that Trump does not do anything more and, halt whatever he is doing. Exactly. And if anybody feels like this is the end of it, like you feel like this is the end of it, then you're not smart at all. Yeah, you're not, no, like something is really wrong because it doesn't make any sense. How do you kidnap over 300 people and there's no word as to what happened?
Never discussed. Nobody
doesn't make any sense.
Okay, this is how
we never hear how.
All we hear is
give me a minute, sir.
The government has secured.
Never discussed.
When they use
is telling, okay, this is how we go about it.
Rescued,
all we hear
is,
the government has secured. When they use that line, the government has rescued, the government has secured.
Let's just be patriotic here. Uncle Dio, your take, sir. 100 girls released. Niger State government
just be patriotic here. Uncle Dio,
what's going on?
Your take, sir. 100 girls released. Niger State government doing photo op. What's going on? What are your thoughts, sir?
Exactly what my sister just said. The thing is this, okay? They are more concerned about that photo shoot than the real situation at hand. Number one, these children were kidnapped for weeks and they were released and they were supposed to go through some medical evaluation, check them up and everything. But we have seen over and over again whereby when they are releasing these children from their kidnappers, they are being driven straight to the state house. Yes, maybe for verification, maybe for people to be able to understand that, okay, oh, this thing is true. See the pictures. So these are the children. Oh, they have been rescued. Oh, they have been released. Oh, whatever. So these are the pictures, and then they will not take them back for medical evaluation and proper checking. Fine, it's okay with me. However, we are tired of having these under the table deals, whereby they will say, okay, children have been kidnapped, and next thing they have been released, or the government has gone to rescue them. There were no arrests. There are no form of kind of kidnappers being held to ransom whatsoever. We just hear that they have been released, and in this case, everything just pointing to one thing. Everything is just pointing to our government is negotiating with the terrorists, allegedly. That's what it's pointing to. It is pointing to the fact that our government, because if it's not a negotiation, how come they release only 100 out of about 300 students? How come they are releasing them in batches? Fine, they've paid, allegedly, they have paid certain amount of money to release 100 children to be able to save face, at least. And when they are ready for the remaining money to pay for the other students, they will go and pay and then they can get them out. Allegedly. That is what is appearing to look like, because that's the only reason why you will not make any arrest and then you will not have any form of kind of evidence to show that these children were actually rescued. To me, it's just too painful, because there are no guarantees. Like that presenter said, there are no guarantees that this will not happen again. No security. Nobody can have confidence that, oh, now we can sleep in peace. So these bandits have been arrested. Nothing like that. And once they finish collecting whatever, all these students again, next couple of days, they will go back again to repeat the same circle. So it's just so sad. It's so sad, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We're approaching the end of this show. I just quickly want to do the political roundtable just to highlight some of the stuff we are dealing with right there in Nigeria. May God help us. The military, ever since we've had another chief of defense, the military has been very, very proactive now. So I think even the bandits, they are beginning to realize that it's not going to be business as usual. It's just painful that it took somebody like President Donald Trump before we can finally say, let us tackle this thing head on. Anyway, let's keep it moving. I would like to quickly handle the last segment of today's show, and that is, I want to talk about Diddy, our Puff Daddy. We're going to talk about Puff Daddy, and I'll be right back. Just give me a minute. Let me quickly make this into a separate segment, because right now we're about to do UB Stories.
You are watching UB Stories. Like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment. You are watching UB Stories.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, if you haven't seen it, well, I don't know what you're waiting for. 50 Cent has actually made his promise come true. When Diddy was arrested, 50 Cent was like, oh, I'm going to bring all this shit out. I'm going to show the world who truly you are. And I've come to realize that anytime 50 Cent make a threat on social media, he usually go ahead and make it happen. Okay, so Diddy, 50 Cent promised he was going to produce this Netflix series called, what they call it now, The Reckoning. Yeah, he said he's going to produce it and he's going to let the world see Diddy for who he truly is. I thought it was just an empty promise. It's like, it's never going to happen, Jerry. This guy just like to the true shade all the time. But here we are. I've seen the documentary. It's actually 4-episode documentary. And what that documentary revealed about Diddy, it was terrible. It was terrible. I was going to do a reaction show on Trends Reality, but I'm still asking myself several questions, and hopefully I will get there. So what I resort to is to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to cover this Diddy documentary segment by segment. So I wanted to start by discussing the role of is it Kalenna? That's the name. Sorry, some of these are I do struggle to pronounce some of the Black American sisters' names, so forgive me, but I think her name is Kalenna. So Kalenna happens to be one member of the group that used to work for Diddy, and the group is known as Dirty Money back then, when Diddy was really a big shot in the industry. I think he's still a big shot anyway, but not anymore. So Kalenna made a discovery while being interviewed on the documentary. Kalenna said when her partner, that is the other lady that they formed the group together, when she sued Diddy for sexual assault and many other shitty stuff they usually sue him for, Diddy reached out to her to help him make a statement. So what Kalenna now said was that before then, she was having issues fighting for the custody of her kids. And she needed lawyers, she needed money. So she reached out to Diddy and she asked Diddy to help her with $5,000. And Diddy turned her down, claiming that he's dealing with some issue himself, that he really can't help her. You know, Diddy, as far as I can remember, he was considered a billionaire, right? I think it was one of the hip hop billionaires, like they said. So Diddy say he can't give her $5,000. But then when Don now sued Diddy, Diddy reached out to Kalenna to help him out, just made a statement. And in the world of entertainers, when they ask their fellow compatriot to make a statement, that is PR. They simply want to like manipulate public opinion. They do that all the time. Make a statement. Say something. Just say something. Let people know I'm not like this. Now, to make matter worse, Diddy was actually recording himself 6 days before he was arrested. Diddy hired a videographer that was following him around Manhattan for whatever reason. And everything he was doing, calling his lawyer, how he said, "Oh, we're gonna turn this around, man. I ain't going down, man. It is not gonna happen, man. You gotta get professional on this thing, man." He documented every freaking thing. His greatest undoing was, according to the documentary, allegedly, Diddy have this bad character of not paying people that work for him. But that's a story for another day. The guy that did this recording, the cameraman that was following him about, Diddy did not even pay that dude. So it was easy for 50 Cent to lay his hands on that footage. Coming back to Kalenna, she is currently receiving a lot of backlash from almost a lot of people on social media. People were like, "What is wrong with you, girl? Somebody who couldn't help you, a billionaire who cannot help you with $5,000 when you are going through custody battle. He reached out to you for you to make a statement, knowing fully well that whatever you say can actually destroy your partner's lawsuit against him. And yet you went ahead and released the statement." And what was the statement? She simply said, "Well, whatever Don alleges Diddy of, I want you all to know that I was not aware of it. I don't know what was going on. We all have different experience and different settings and all of that. But people are really dragging her now for saying what she said." Now, let me play just one video. I know even my panelists right now, I don't think any of my panelists have watched this one. Sister Yinka, have you watched? I can bet, Sister Yinka, you haven't watched this documentary. Sister Yinkus, have you seen it? Okay, Sister Yinka is not here. How about you, Uncle Dayo? Have you seen the documentary?
No, I've not seen it yet. But now that you have said something about it, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. So it's crazy. But here is a brief synopsis from it. Listen.
The one interview that I did not vibe with was Kalenna Harper's from Diddy Dirty Money. In the documentary, we heard Kalenna Harper talk about the fact that Diddy reached out to her after Don Richard filed this lawsuit against Diddy just days before he ended up being arrested. And we also saw the video clips that Diddy recorded of himself actually making these phone calls to Kalenna Harper. What threw me off about Kalenna Harper's interview is the fact that she never brought up that prosecutors were alleging that Diddy actually paid her after she made this public statement disputing what Don Richard had in her lawsuit. And this is one of the reasons why the judge actually denied Diddy's bail multiple different times. And y'all know I stayed in these court docs leading up to trial, and this is what the prosecutors alleged. The defendant reached out to witness 2 on September 11th and sent her a copy of the lawsuit against the defendant in which witness 2's name was mentioned several times. And this is Kalenna Harper. And we now know Diddy was recording parts of this conversation. The defendant then called Kalenna Harper and they spoke for nearly 6 minutes. After reading the lawsuit, witness 2 called Diddy back at his request and they spoke for over 4 minutes. The defendant and Kalenna Harper discussed Kalenna drafting a statement, and immediately after the call, Diddy told Kalenna Harper something in a text message. Diddy then asked Kalenna Harper for her attorney's name. From September 11th of 2024 through September 15th of 2024, Diddy and Kalenna Harper exchanged multiple texts and had multiple calls. At least 128 phone contacts in total. Throughout these phone contacts, the defendant had repeatedly asked Witness 2 when she planned to post her public statement. Witness 2 then ultimately made a statement about the lawsuit via Instagram on September 13th. Yes, this is a statement that Kalenna Harper made during this time. All of this information is even still in the media because they were talking about how the prosecutors alleged that Diddy was tampering with witnesses, one being Kalenna Harper. But then they go on to talk about something interesting. They said then, after the defendant was in custody, BOP investigators recovered the following notes from the defendant's cell during a pre-planned nationwide sweep of BOP facilities. Diddy was trying to fight against prosecutors getting their hands on this notepad out of it.
Sorry, you guys cannot hear me. The story is very interesting. For those who have not seen it, I will encourage you to watch the documentary and then go and do your own research to see if you can draw your own conclusions. But here is why I'm kind of reacting to this right now. A couple of people are kind of insinuating something else. Take a look at some of these comments. Let me see if you can see my screen right now. Okay, great. So people are saying, have you seen the videos Traore has been making? Then another one say, there is a reason why 50 Cent put her on that documentary, just like those jurors. And then Kiki said, I'm stuck on the fact she asked for money to get her kids back. He said no, but she helped him and wrote a statement for him. Hollywood is weird. So some people are also saying, I still think some of the juror folks were paid off. Another person says, so many people got paid off in this situation. Well, never know the truth. Meaning we will never know the truth, okay? So the Diddy case is kind of traumatizing and it's kind of complicated. And that documentary have shown how complex human being can be and how weird people can be. There is something I've often said, and I will say it again. Celebrities are not superhumans, okay? Celebrities are not superhumans. In fact, some of your celebrities are the worst human being you could be around. The fact that you see them on TVs, you see them singing music, dancing, performing, and doing all of that does not make them better than an ordinary person on the street. Many of these so-called celebrities, they are part of the worst in the society. Thinking because they are famous or because they are rich, that means they are better than you. Oh, that is wrong. Don't even think about it. Diddy, allegedly, dude has done some terrible things. We can only pray that God will rescue his soul and probably revive him. But that documentary exposed a lot of shit about him. However, why those victims might have a good case against him, I'm still going to blame some people for putting themselves in those circumstances and situations. For instance, one of the reasons they threw out Cassie's testimony during Diddy trial was that, according to one of the jurors interviewed in this video, they were saying, look, you say you don't want to be part of this, but you are enjoying the glamour. You are enjoying the money. You are living the life on the one hand. And on the other hand, you say you don't want to be part of it. I get it. Sometimes when these people, these rich folks, when you play into their hand, they will own you, as in they will literally take over your life like a property. That's why you got to be careful. Rich folks call on favors. Usually they will do you one favor in order to hold that against you. So when they're going to reach out and say, hey, I need you to do this for me, you can't say no. So in the case of Diddy and Kalenna, I don't know what they got going. Some people are insinuating that Kalenna is jealous of Don because at the time when Kalenna and Don were working for Diddy under Dirty Money, it seems Diddy took special liking to Don. And it's like Don is all over him. So they got their thing ongoing too. And just like I said right now, when you put yourself in a situation and people take advantage of you, yes, you are the victim, but why are you there in the first place? Today is Diddy. We still don't know many thousands or hundreds of these guys you have out there that are equally doing a lot of shady things just like Diddy. My final word and advice to young folks is this: nothing comes free. When you see money and affluence and you say, hey, I want to be part of that, bear in mind, the devil lives right where there is a lot of money. Maybe I should say that again. The devil lives in the midst of money, affluence, luxury. The devil is always in the mix. And again, for young ladies, the wealth you do not know the source should never ever attracted you to a man. Based on that documentary, allegedly, Diddy made his money not just through music, but by having in his hand in a lot of shady deals. So for Kalenna, whatever you think you did, woman, I think it is between you and God. That's my final thought for today. Uncle Dio, any final take as we're leaving the studio now?
No, sir. I think I'm good. You just said it all, sir. Thank you.
All right, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those who still want to be part of our ongoing UBMC classes, you can see that I've published a couple of videos and I already turned those videos to members only. Yesterday, we handled how to brand your YouTube channel, and we instruct people who actually registered for the program. For those who have not started their YouTube channel, we walk them through how they can actually create their own YouTube channel, and we stop at actually creating the channel. So today, I'm going to continue. I will publish another content on how you can upload your channel art and how you can set up your description for your channel. Then after that, we're going to dive deep into content creation. Hopefully by the end of this week, we should have been able to get everybody to have shared at least one or two content on their YouTube channel. Okay. So thank you. For those who still want to be part of that, please, I think I'm going to add the link to the registration form. I will add it to the channel so you can simply click on it and then join us at the mentoring group backstage. Thank you, Sister Rose. Thank you, Sister Mario. Thank you, everybody that are part of today's show. I really enjoyed this. Thank you, Uncle Dio, for finding time to be here. Sister Yekus, Sister Yika, Yika came and do political analysis with me today. Thank you very much, my lovely sister. Uncle Dio, thank you, Baba. In fact, Uncle Dio is in our YouTube program too. Uncle Dayo have just created his own channel. He simply call it The Crown. Uncle Dayo, we still gonna have to work on your channel's name. You just call it The Crown.
No wala. No wala, sir. No wala. I'll do that.
Uncle Dayo will become the second Dr. Akpoki in Nigeria.
Amen.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Uncle Dayo is getting serious with his YouTube channel. You can see that Uncle Dayo have decided to upload corporate pictures, you know. Let them know that Uncle is ready. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you guys. Since I'm off today, if I have to go live again, I'll let you know. But if I don't go live again, I'm probably gonna publish content on our ongoing UBMC training. Thank you again. Happy holiday, everybody. I know for those of you who work from home, you are already enjoying now. Some of you work as leaders wherever you are working. Maybe they've probably given you some time off now. You're already balling. This is one of the reasons I really don't like healthcare. In healthcare, you don't get to have all this time. You have to go and save somebody. But anyway, enjoy your holidays and please be safe. Bye-bye, Uncle Dayo. Bye-bye, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.
You are watching Political Roundtable with UB. Like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments.
Hey, Canary, bye, my brother.